With the release of Spyro's reignited trilogy inching ever closer, now is as good a time as any to take a look at my favourite Spyro game. Spyro 2, Ripto's Gateway to Rage. Wait, that's not right. This is the Retro Cave and welcome to In Retrospect. After the events of Spyro 1, which we haven't talked about yet, so yeah, this is a little bit awkward, isn't it? Spyro wants to go on a well-deserved vacation to Dragon Shores. Of course, there would be no game if that actually happened, so instead he gets transported to Avalar. Yes, the UK named this gateway to Glimmer, but Glimmer is just the first level of the game, not the world itself. I suppose it's got a nice ring to it, but it's just a confusing name. Here we meet the Professor, Elora and Hunter, who need a dragon to combat the evil Ripto. In short, it's the most basic, we're the good guys, you're the bad guys, now let's go beat them up kind of story. This adventure takes you through 3 hub worlds themed after summer, autumn and winter, all with their own smaller worlds inside, which I might add have no link at all to the themes of the hub worlds they reside in. I say worlds rather than levels because every level is a small open world by itself. You can just rush through to get to the end, and you'll even be able to beat the game by just mostly doing that, but the real fun is in exploring every level to its fullest, collecting the gems and doing side quests and minigames to collect orbs. You do need a certain amount of orbs to finish the game, but all things considered, there's only a few missions I would advise you not to play. Mainly the one in Magma Cone, where you have to race Hunter to a number of crystal geysers and collect the crystals before he does. There's 2 versions of this minigame. The first is manageable and can even be somewhat easy. But then you have to do it again and Hunter is suddenly really good at this minigame. Unless you want to 100% the game, don't bother with the second orb here. There's a small number of missions like this, which are either just no fun or are followed by a second mission which is exactly the same but just more difficult. A little lazy? Maybe. But as I said, for most of these you have to get out of your way to play them, and they aren't required to beat the game in any way. Throughout all of this, Spyro controls very smoothly. He's responsive, jumping, flaming and head smashing into things feels really satisfying, and it's just generally a good game. I hesitate to call it a platformer though. Sure, there is more platforming than in the original Spyro game, but you're still a dragon which can glide all over the place. Now even more so with the wing flap ability to get you a little extra high to get you over ledges. Spyro is where collectathons and platformers become 2 different genres. Spyro certainly is a collectathon, and while that means a platforming game most of the time, I honestly think this is just a collectathon with some very minor platforming elements. So while the gameplay itself is done well, it's rarely used to its full potential since the levels aren't built around platforming. The game is mostly just about running around a lot, which might actually be a good thing since the camera controls are decent at best. I know it's good for its time, amazing in fact, but looking back so many years later, out of all the things this game had to offer, the camera has aged rather poorly. Something that should be fixed in the remake as far as I know. Now that I mention it, the game has aged very well, not only in its level design and gameplay, but also in its looks. In some cases, a remake is necessary and will be the definitive way to play the game going forward. And while I have not yet played the reignited trilogy, the art style seen in the pre-release footage seems to be way different from the original games. The simple but colourful aesthetic is really neat and looks good in the world of Spyro. While I do enjoy the more detailed look, I certainly don't think it looks better. I will always come back to the original game just for the look and feel, something which, aside from the lower resolution and pixelated look as a result of that, still looks nice compared to a lot of games these days. Sure, less detail and lower polygon count are a thing. No dynamic shadows, no individual grass pieces burning down as we do have these days, but that is not what the look of a game is about. At least, it shouldn't be. Spyro shows that you can build something amazing with next to nothing as far as computing power goes, as long as you know how to use it. A sentiment which modern game developers and designers seem to forget oftentimes. Anyway, before I get too deep into complaining about modern game design, let's talk music. Because anyone who knows Spyro knows it's got a really unique music style. And frankly, I can't explain how amazing it's done. Stuart Copeland is practically a god. I should make one thing obvious. As songs go, they're not particularly amazing. There's a lot of game soundtracks I listen to because I like the music. Think about games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Rayman, even some Mario games. This is not such a soundtrack. These tracks aren't as much music as they are auditive extensions of the level. It's like the levels aren't complete without the music, but the music also isn't complete without the level. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave it up to you to decide, but I personally love it. Apparently Copeland played through every level time after time until he got the mood just right to make a song based around that, and you can tell, as I said, it's not two things happening at the same time, a level which happens to have a certain song playing in the background, it's two halves of a whole. The level isn't complete without the music, and the music sounds empty and incomplete without the game to go along with it. So in retrospect, I would say this game is worth playing, even though the remake is just around the corner. It probably won't take the place of the original game, rather it'll have a nice place right beside it as an alternative way to play it. And a way to reach a new generation of gamers with this amazing title. I guess that's all from me today though, so until the next time, bye.